The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Dustin Sweetelson in for the still vacationing Kelly Bidley. Kelly's going to just go ahead and take the whole week off. That's what he's going to do. Dustin hanging out with us all week. Good to see you, man.
Join the dark side. I ditched the blazer today.
Oh, man.
I said, look, Gil Alexander is one of the 4 made men at VSiN. If he says he's not wearing a blazer for his show, I'm not going to wear a blazer for his show.
4 made men. Who are the other 3?
The 4 horsemen. You, Mitch, Paul, and I'd say humans.
Okay. We're the oldest people here. Yeah, we've been.
Well,
here
that's
been
part of the deal. I wasn't viewing it that way. It was a term of endearment and respect.
Didn't you say this is a contract violation for you, though?
Yeah, but it's your show. It's your rules. And if you're a no jacket show, then I am a no jacket co-host on the show.
There you go, baby. Well done. Nothing need more be said. On the show today, you know how Luke Swain rolled up in here the other day and gave out a Bennett Sturts 16 in the NBA draft and other things? Well, how about the NHL draft tomorrow night, first round? Luke's got thoughts. Yep, it's bettable. We got Luke in. Then some NFC predictions from the NFL Betting Guide, because we had AFC predictions yesterday that we went through. Yours and mine, Dustin. And then we're doing, obviously, it's unscripted with the Crackman later on the show. Got to, of course, establish that, start with that. Unscripted with Bill Krackomberger, final hour. But we're also doing our tried and true tradition on the Beating the Book podcast, Betting Dork before that, of our MLB derivative show. This is the Q2 derivative show. We'll actually have Mark Borchard on the radio side here this morning to go through baseball stats that have occurred the first half of this regular season. Some hugely publicly available, like best money line teams, best run line teams, that sort of thing. We'll break it out in splits. But then we'll get more proprietary. We'll do best first 5 teams, best first inning pitchers, worst first inning pitchers, most reliable over under umps. We'll do all of that on the show this morning. Something we do every year. It's actually older than the Megapod that Mark Borchard and I have done this.
I think with baseball specifically, the data points are huge. Like knowing what you're walking into in terms of, do I want to bet this team first 5? Do I want to bet full game? Like there's a play that we have coming up in a couple hours here where I'm on a first 5 under specifically because I want no part of one team's bullpen.
Okay.
I refuse to allow that bullpen to ruin my life.
And you know, the point of that exercise that we go through, Mark and I, is some of it is just narrative. Hey, this is what's happened. Doesn't mean it's predictive. But some of it will lead to being predictive, and we'll get into what you think is what as we go on. Now, the big news this morning, obviously we have 6 more World Cup games. We'll get to that too. The big news this morning, this just went down about a half hour ago, as reported by Shams Charania over at ESPN, the Charlotte Hornets are trading star guard LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first, 3 first-round pick swaps in 28, 29, and 30, and 3 second-round picks, 2029, 2032, 2033, sources telling ESPN. Now, Dustin, usually when a trade in any sport comes down, football, basketball, whatever, I think most people have a instant reaction to that, like, oh, this team won this trade, or, oh, I can see it working out. It's a win-win situation here. I can see what both teams are going for. My reaction to this, when Danny Higgins texted us this tweet, was, what in the what is either of these two teams doing? I do not understand this from either perspective, because the only first of all, LaMelo Ball, very happy in Charlotte, had himself a good year last year. You remember the Hornets were a big favorite from all of our NBA hardos here on the network.
Yep.
Beloved. I know Kelly loved the Hornets, but we had guests who loved the Hornets as well. Zach, Drew, everybody did. Some more than others. And remember the Hornets season ended. Remember there was the first play-in game where LaMelo tripped Bam. Not much was made of that. LaMelo hit the layup with 4.5 seconds left. They won that game, and then they got housed by the Magic in the second play-in game, so they didn't end up getting in. But LaMelo had himself a fine season. It was a core with Con Kneppel, with Brandon Miller and others. And the only explanation, because I actually texted Zach too, and I'm like, can you explain this to me? And Zach said the only thing that I was thinking, which is the Charlotte Hornets must have just had it with LaMelo Ball. As I don't know if a player, but as a human, maybe he's uncoachable. I don't know what it is, but they have seemingly had enough of him, and this is the result.
Yeah, I'll frame it this way. I don't think that's far off, but from a basketball perspective, when I look at the Hornets right now, one, LaMelo as a player, I know the highlight reels are sexy. I know it's a lot of fun, but he's coming off a year where he had his second lowest points per game, his lowest assists per game since his rookie year, his lowest rebounds per game. You never know how much defense he's going to play. And oh, by the way, he's a guy who's only played 70 games twice in his career. So you factor all of that in, he's making a lot of money. And I think for Charlotte, they're looking around, they're saying, hang on, is this a salary cap hit we're willing to take while we're still on the build? They're still on the climb. And then you take a look at the picks that they got back. 2033 unprotected first rounder. Who knows what Minnesota looks like then? 3 first-round pick swaps, 28, 29, and 30. That leads me to believe the Charlotte Hornets are playing a waiting game in the East. They know their team's going to build with Kneppel, who you mentioned, and Miller, and Bridges, and Diabate. They add Naz Reid. But they also drafted Christian Anderson. They're going to wait out the timeline of the Knicks, the Cavaliers, and Boston as they get a little bit older here.
I appreciate that explanation. I respectfully am not buying it because it's 2026, right? And all this stuff is, as you point out, way in the future. And I was led to believe by our NBA hardos that the future was now with this team. Why would you... First of all, so let me just take the other side of this also. Julius Randle got dealt earlier this week,
yes,
right? Now you're trading Naz Reid. First of all, by the way, people are describing this as the Hornets got a haul. I don't really... I really don't define this as a haul if it's so far out in the future, right? I just don't. And then now the T-Wolves have gotten rid of Julius Randle, and now they trade Naz Reid. I get it. Now you have this super-duper backcourt with LaMelo and Ant on paper. Let's hope that works out for you. But in scuttling both Randle and Reid, you've kind of taken the soul of your team away. So, and by the way, so then I text Drew. I said, can you explain to me what either of these teams are doing? And you know what he shot back? He goes, trying to get Chris Finch to quit?
I get that perspective. Real quickly on the Hornets, though, and I'll come to Minnesota. For Charlotte, they just cleared about $40 million in cap space. They need depth. They need more players. LaMelo's good, but is he worth the price he's paid more than the guy they brought in last year in Kobe White, who I think is a very good point guard, who has a chance to really flourish in this type of offense with these guys who can shoot? And then secondly, they drafted Christian Anderson out of Texas Tech, a guy a lot of people are super high on that I think could really be a good point guard in the league. For Minnesota, I actually like it. I'm intrigued. This could go one of two ways. It could be absolutely horrible, or they could be the most athletic team out there in the West, running up and down with everybody. You don't get a defensive improvement with LaMelo, but the thing you get a fun offense, which it unlocks Rudy Gobert as a pick and roll player. You also have Ant, who gets to be a catch and shoot player, doesn't have to be so ball dominant. LaMelo could add an element to this team, and on the Chris Finch piece, I just trust that dude. He is an X's and O's tactician. He has taken this team and gotten the most out of them for a few years now. I think he will know what to do with LaMelo Ball by the time the season starts.
I mean, you still have Jaden McDaniels, you still have DeSunmo, but DeSunmo's a guard also, right?
Yeah.
The unlocking of Gobert as a pick-and-roll guy, I'll believe that when I see it.
All he has to do is dunk the basketball. He doesn't have to shoot.
I just, for me, listen, the betting market disagrees with me on the T-Wolves side. The Hornets drifted after this trade. The T-Wolves have shortened. The betting market, at least in the short term, believes this is a good move for the T-Wolves. The T-Wolves have shortened to the third shortest shot or a tie for the third shortest shot in the Western Conference. Obviously, Spurs and Thunder in whatever order at the top. But T-Wolves are in the Nuggets range now in the Western Conference. So there it is, a trade that, to me, off the top, I just don't get it either way. I really don't. But I could very well be wrong. Time will tell.
I respect Minnesota for not just running it back. And that's the one thing I'll say is when you have a luxury of having Rudy Gobert as your center, you're one of the few teams in the league that don't have to just add 7-footers left and right to battle with Victor Wembanyama. They got more athletic to run with San Antonio and all the wings and the guards that they have. I think that's the interesting element here, is just because Gobert exists and his body can be a difficult matchup for Wembanyama, you now can add other pieces who can shoot, who can score, who can make him more of a run and gun up and down team. We'll see if it works out, but I'm intrigued by the notion.
No question about that part of it. You are more run and gun now for sure. We shall see. Again, time will tell. We'll talk more about it as the days go on. Tennis, because I want to get this in case one of these hasn't started. 2 tennis plays on the overnight. Elena Gabriela Ruse, plus 127 versus Emma Navarro. That's at Bad Homburg. 2 greatest words in sports, Dustin. Bad Homburg. People say it's Game 7. That's Bad Homburg. This has started, so this one's already underway. They're on serve in the first set. Tatiana Maria is the other play. I don't know if that has started yet. It's about to if it hasn't. That one is in Eastbourne, I believe. Got Tatiana Maria overnight, minus 144. She's about high minus 150s. Don't play it any higher than that against Teresa Valentova if you want to get in on that. 2 ladies tennis players here as the Wimbledon draw is tomorrow, and on the show tomorrow, the aforementioned NBA hardos that are Zach Cohen and Drew Dinsick. They're also my tennis buddies as well. We will do like we're doing with Mark Borchard on the baseball side of things today and repurposing it for the podcast. We're also going to do that for Wimbledon tomorrow. I'll talk to Drew. I'll talk to Zach right after the draw comes out. The draw will actually come out in the middle of the night here stateside. So we will react to that and sort of highlight what bets we think we should make.
Where does Wimbledon rank for you on the sports events on the calendar?
It's not high.
Really?
It's the most prestigious of all the tennis tournaments, right? If you're talking about this nebulous word of prestige. But in terms of handicapping, grass court season is a blink.
Got it.
And the data is just not as robust. And so it's just not the same as doing a hard court tournament like a U.S. Open or the Australian Open or even clay, which lasts much longer than grass does. But yeah, if you ask a tennis player and you ask them, what's the one tournament you want to win, most will answer Wimbledon. Serena's back. I set her match win total at 1.5. Coming back. You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VSiN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VSiN Pro.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
$30 million in guaranteed prizes. Cash in this football season in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. Entry starting at $1,000, all with no rake. That's the key, no rake. That means every dollar stays in the prize pool. There's Circa Millions, of course, 18 weeks, 128 ways to win. Circa Survivor, pick one winner each week, last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo for the high rollers, $100,000 entry Survivor contest. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details. We get tweets beating the book. Patrick Kelly, best hour of radio in a long, long time. Thank you, Bill Krackenberger. Gil, that's real, not transactional. I can't listen in today, but have a good one. Thank you, Patrick Kelly. Jordan Pagel, I proposed to my girlfriend last summer at the Legacy Club at Circa. Great spot for pictures at night, and they have special proposal packages if you're looking to spend a little more money.
Wow.
There you go.
A little proposal package.
The Stoner Turtle, crack, my favorite segment. Real Nicks, I got engaged on the bridge over the canal in the Venetian. Had a beautiful wedding less than 2 years later at Poolside Chapel at Flamingo.
Wow, so many cool spots.
Saved the airfare, got divorced in Ohio 15 years later.
There you go.
Always looking out for my A&G brothers. LOL. Thank you, Real Nicks. Colin Murphy, may I recommend live on air in the beautiful VSiN studios? Dustin can MC it. Invite the Jardians girl. It will be beautiful. Do it right here in the Circa studio.
Beautiful.
Jeff Kuykendall. I appreciate this, Jeff. He says, nothing better than Gil imitating his father. Can tell that you had a great relationship with him. The warmth comes through in your voice. Man, he's the greatest man ever, as far as I'm concerned. Bosch in Chicago. Holy blank, a Wayne Allen Root reference. I remember him being on TV. That, I can't even call him that. Like many others back in the day that sold picks over the phone, just the worst, would give out both sides on the same game. He was one of those. Let's see. Tony Hernandez. Gil and Crack, I look forward each and every Thursday to you gentlemen discussing a variety of topics. At 71, I agree with Crack about the illegitimate attempts to contact me via email and text from unscrupulous bots and humans. Not only sound advice on wagering, but also day-to-day challenges navigating things regarding what in effect is a super microcomputer in the palm of everyone's hands. This is why Thursday is huge for me. Crack is definitely a smart man, and his vast knowledge is greatly appreciated. Many thanks.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'm looking here on the Turkey USA tonight. Reminds me of something I was going to mention it last week. I'm glad I didn't because USA won. But
First of all, Bill, that's Turkey, eh? First of all.
Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yesterday I filmed my podcast over at the World Series in a beautiful studio they have there.
You guys have a beautiful setup.
It's really
over
beautiful.
there.
The
It's
setup's
amazing.
great. This was the first week they actually set it up for us like that.
You and John Orlando.
Me and John Orlando and this gentleman from Turkey was there, and he's going to the game, but he was stopping over in Vegas, the World Series, and he came into it, and it just made me feel so good. He goes, "We watch you every week." I was like, "Do you guys even have gambling there?" Like, I didn't know the situation that the Turkey. He says we have no poker rooms, but yet he was there at the playing poker.
Wow.
So I thought it was interesting. There was two things they didn't have in Turkey. I forgot. It was no turkey in Turkey. No, there was. I'm trying to think of the other thing. He said two different things that surprised me there.
Yeah.
But we had a nice conversation. It was just. It's cool when you're reaching
It's
across the
amazing.
pond or even Turkey or
Absolutely.
like someone came from England was watching the
Yeah.
show, and
I never take that for granted. It's really,
Really
incredible.
cool.
We have listeners from England who say they listen to us in drive time, which
Oh, it's
always trips
wonderful.
me out. It's like,
yeah. There were some guys outside that I met outside here, and they were happy to meet me, and they said they met you in the past also. And it's always nice to meet people,
Yeah.
and it makes up for the other ones, the ones that listen to the show, but the telephone tough guys.
Oh, those poor guys.
So I didn't tell you. Oh, so let's go back to the Turkey.
They're having a tough time with my tennis run. They don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah, Gil said something. It's so hard to believe. Gil went 2-2 in Turkey in tennis. I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and
That
the
was
guy
a few
only
weeks ago.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the guy came at him and only posted
Only
two
post the
losers.
losers.
Oh man,
Think about how sad your life
it's
is.
unbelievable.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
By the way, and you can't talk about your 9 out of 10 because God forbid you do that.
yeah.
And you're bragging.
So it's the same thing. I was doing my Fox show on Sunday, Fox Sports Radio, and did the show, gave out a WNBA prop loser, and someone actually, I showed you the tweet.
Yeah.
Said you should give up this WNBA prop stuff, and then my right hand man says to me, "What is he talking about? We've killed him in props for the season,
Yeah.
and even this month we're 12-7. What's he talking? Now we're 12-6. Now we're 12-7. Just people just gotta point out that loser."
It is a remarkable window into the human condition.
It is. It really is.
That
No,
they're-
it really is.
And I just want to point. I want to say to these guys, and just me to you, you're always welcome here. I'll give you a hug. I understand you weren't hugged as a child.
Right.
I'll give you a hug. I know that's where this comes from, and I know it makes you feel better about yourself to think that somehow someone else's success is because of some other things. It's you. Relax. It gets better. Come here. We'll give you a hug. It really is an incredible window into the human condition. How people's brains, things aren't going well in their lives, so they need to convince themselves. By the way, nothing has to be true. By the way, they'll make up whatever about you, right?
Oh, yeah.
To feel good about themselves, but that it's just not just in this industry, right? That's in multiple areas of your life that you go through.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm just sitting here. I get a text from Randy McKay. I don't know what it means. I'm sure I'll find out. I just sent out a tweet about the show and giving blood. How do they relate? Maybe there's something there, but giving blood is obviously a good thing. Sometimes Randy, that's pretty cool though. Going back to this,
Yes.
So I just seen 10 p.m. tonight Eastern. So it's 7 p.m. here. The game starts at 10.
Correct.
So people at home, I always consider
but we're
home.
playing for nothing. Turkey's eliminated, and we're already first place in our group, so we can just
Okay.
play subs.
So I was going to say, now that may affect what I'm going to say then,
Yeah.
because I don't follow the soccer, but the value of betting against the United States here in the United States, you get some value. Last week there was like plus 1.5 goals, was a pure scalp with many sports books betting at a book here in town. So I just want you guys to check when the United States is playing, even for real, I guess, which will be the next game or games. And even tonight, though, you may find it. Like, they have no choice. The guy where I bet, it was here in town. It was a book in town. And the book in town, they have an app. They have lots of customers. He said, I have no choice. I have no choice. I have to. I'm getting all USA money. I had to make it a play for you guys that are sharp enough to come in and bet the opposite side.
Yeah.
So
Hasn't been sharp so far, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But and they lost money. And the sponsor of the BetMGM, sponsor of Sunday's show on Fox, they lost money. They lost a ton to the Knicks because they're only in New York. They're not in Texas, where San Antonio played. So they lost. They got. I had the bucket out. Don't worry, the bucket was out. I put a tweet out with the bucket. But also, same thing. He said, the director of Risk said, we can't get any money against the United States. Or we're legal in 30 states. Everyone bets the United. Nobody's betting the opposite. So when they win, we're going to lose money on that game. We try to make it more as appetizing as we can on the underdog, but we still can't get any money. So the value there is definitely betting against the United States in lots of different situations. So you have to check, though, not all places, but especially towards game time when they see such a lopsided amount of money on the underdog. On the favorite, the United States, they say, "Wait a minute, we got to get some money here. We're going to lose a six-figure score here, maybe even more with one of the books that have so many representations in different states." I just thought that was kind of interesting. And last week, when the person pointed it out to me, I looked at the line and I said, "Wow, that's a pure scalp." And by the way, I'll say it was at the Win. So you have the Win app. He's like, I got all one-way action, and they had to make it.
You're at the Win quite often.
Well, I am. I like the Win.
Yeah.
Even
but I'm
though
saying sports betting there.
Sports betting, even though they stopped me from playing video poker. Well, I could play video poker. I just can't get any comps, can't get any promotion. They were giving me great promotions, and I just ran lucky, though. I'd love to say I did something. I really would, but I still love the Win. And I love the Win Sportsbook. I think the book is so cool. I think it's the classiest casino in town. When people ask,
nicest hotel in town.
I think it's the nicest hotel.
Yeah.
I think the riffraff's kept out of there. I think the security's excellent there. One of the best places that have also surveillance. And if I go in there to play blackjack, which I don't ever do, they're going to stop me almost instantly. So they're pretty good. I'm sure Kelly they'd stop him too. And if once you're in the matrix, once you're in the systems,
the list.
There's two different books. Once you're in that, they share information with other casinos.
Kelly can't go anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
With blackjack. The USA thing though is an interesting point because it is like this is the thing about the World Cup. We're all super excited about the USA team. 2 games so far, they have been spectacular. Again, tonight's game's a little fakakta because it's a different kind of thing. There's no motivation. In fact, they may play subs, if not throughout, for most. And so that's a little bit different. But you're right. Like, once we get to the knockout stage, maybe not the round of 32, but certainly round of 16 moving forward, that will be such an interesting betting handle in terms of just how lopsided it is in favor of the USA when, in fact, they are up against it, against really good teams.
Right.
So we'll see.
Right. But now this is regarding playing the books in the United States.
Yes,
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know some of the books that are international or have international representation. That's not going to be. So there you have it.
More with Bill Krackomberger at Bill Crackman with a K on Twitter. Name of the podcast is Wise Cracks. Coming back on a numbers game here at VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The all-new VSiN NFL betting guide is out now. Whether you're betting futures, win totals, division races, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl odds, our guide helps you get ahead of the market before training camps begin. Inside, you'll find breakdowns of all 32 teams, projected win totals, best bets from VSiN experts, future analysis, power ratings, and more. Get it today with our football special for just $175. Sooner you sign up, the more value you get with full access to everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. That includes daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Gil Alexander, Dustin Sweetelson, live from Circa. This gentleman was kind enough to come on the show prior to the NBA draft. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but he strolled in here. He's like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was minus 105 at the time. I think by nightfall it was close to $3. He was like, bet at minus 105. Hope folks did. And, of course, the big one that he had, Bennett Sturts going number 16, bingo, bango. And Luke Swain returns to us now a few days later for his repayment for all of our gratitude. We're like, okay, now do this again with the NHL draft, which begins tomorrow night. First round tomorrow night, and then rounds 2 through 7 on Saturday. Luke, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So your NBA draft, let's start there. Luke Swain, by the way, Vegas refund. on Twitter, VegasRefund.com. Your NBA draft went spectacularly then, I assume?
Yeah, it went very well. Sturts was nice, which it's funny because if we had bet him to go 16 a couple of years ago, those odds probably would have been like 30-1, where just how things have progressed with the draft markets. 10-1 I will take any day, but it's just interesting.
Luke, I'm just curious, as someone who's pretty successful in betting into these draft markets, what's the difference tonight with the NHL compared to some of the others in your strategy of approaching it?
So there's a lot less info. It's a lot less mainstream, where like the biggest issue with like the NFL draft is it's just like totally mainstream. It's become an event, and there's so many different opinions on everything, but you can bet into it more easily. Where NHL, it's a smaller market, which is probably the biggest struggle with the draft. And a lot of these names you have never heard of. And these are basically 16, 17-year-olds who are getting drafted to play a couple years down the road. So it's not going to be, you're drafting players not to play next year, unless you're like the first or the second pick. They're drafting players for a couple years down the line, which is a whole different ballgame.
For those who are wondering, how widely available is the NHL draft in betting shops?
It's becoming more available. There are 4 legal books that have odds in general. There's 3 that have over-unders. There's picks 1 through 10 available. There's matchups. It's honestly, there's more options in the NHL right now than there were for the NBA.
Okay, wow. That's by the way, just because I don't want to gloss over that point before we get into your place here. You talking about Bennett Sturts 16. 2 years ago, that would have been 30-1. Now it's 10-1. Does this just continue to shorten as the years go on, Luke?
I don't think they can shorten them anymore. I mean, they had picks 1 through 30 available, and every pick, like every guy, like down to 6 options were less than 10-1, where the later you get, the more volatile picks are going to get, which is where like the 20s, the 30s, I mean, even like 40 or higher, like that is a realistic odd that it probably a lot of the guys should have been, especially in the 20s, which guys were just, you had 5 favorites because really no one knew and they didn't want to get burned by something coming out. So I think we're at the maximum that they can bring the odds down, though.
Let us pray.
Toronto has the first pick tonight. San Jose's after them, then Vancouver, and then you know what I'm seeing a lot of trades. Throughout this first round. How does that impact how you've been betting this thing since the numbers have been available?
I mean, it's crazy how many trades there have been. I think on Tuesday there were 5 trades, and which included the number 4 pick, the number 16 pick, but then the day before there was a trade for the number 9 pick. So, I mean, I've had a couple bets that have been like really good long shots going into Tuesday. Like I had a couple long shots for the number 9 pick, which all of a sudden that pick got traded and now they're not as great. But I'm expecting more trades. It's definitely affecting everything, but you can't really base things off of expecting trades. And I guess the silver lining behind it all is a lot of teams are trading these draft picks for players. And it kind of speaks to the strength of the draft because in past years, like a top 5 pick hasn't been traded in NHL draft, I think, in 15 years, which kind of speaks to, I guess, teams are a little bit down on this draft class overall. But I'm not the one to make that. I'm not the one to have that opinion.
Yeah, these are not hockey talent assessments from Luke by any stretch. Yeah. To answer your question, by the way, picks 9 and 25 were traded 4 days ago, and then 2 days ago, pick 9 was traded again, as was pick 16 and pick 4, which again breaks the top 5 streak. That was traded to the Buffalo Sabres at 4. So at the top of this draft, the only thing that draft nicks know about this draft is that at number one, that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go with Gavin McKenna, the left winger out of Penn State. That's all we know. It begins at 2. What have you bet, Luke?
So, and then when the number 2 pick got traded, so prior to the number 2 was between Ivar Stenberg and Chase Reed, which was a winger and a D, and it was kind of like a 50-50, like no one really knew. And then when the trade happened, which was the Sharks acquiring the number 2 pick, it kind of signaled that Stenberg's going to go 2, which like prior to that trade, Stenberg was, I want to say, minus 120 to go number 2. And now he's minus 700. So I would say the first 2 picks, there's somewhat of a certainty on how that's going to roll out, which in terms of a betting perspective after that trade, Chase Reed is kind of the wild card now, where I think him to go number 3 at plus 300 right now is a good bet, which I think there's 3 or 4 shops that are offering him. So shop around. But I think Chase Reed to go 3, which would be to Vancouver at plus 300, is a good bet at the top. And then you want me just to go through my bets right now?
Sure.
All right. Chase Reed to go 3 at plus 300. And then I think Caleb, and these names are brutal, so I apologize. Caleb Maltora, I think to go 4 at plus 600. He has been heavily linked to Vancouver at 3 because his dad's the head coach, which things have kind of trickled out from a couple guys I trust, like on Twitter, that it's becoming less likely, especially with Chase Reed going to be there now as well. So Maltora to go 4 at plus 600. And then Keaton Verhoff to go 6 at plus 500. And then the last one, and Vigo Bjork to go 8 at 10 to 1, which
wow.
I think also Vigo, which I think to go 10 isn't a bad bet as well, which 10, I think you could get 20 to 1 or better, where Vigo's like the hottest name right now, but he is a 5'9" center, and height is like probably the biggest contributing factor in draft stock, and the short guys always fall. And Vigo's projected to go like 6 right now, but I refuse to believe that every team is going to want a 5'9" center, and he could fall if there is a guy in the top 10.
Well, Luke, the thing I love about your plays, 4 of them, and if you hit one of the latter 3, you will be profitable in this market, right? If it's all the same size unit bet. From a strategy standpoint, when it comes to betting the NHL draft, whatever other draft you may be looking at here, how important is it for you to chase the plus money prices? And is there a number in your head that you walk into ahead of time saying, look, I need at least this if I'm going to be betting into these markets, versus with a lot of places, people willing to lay a price when it comes to draft with so much unknown?
Yeah. So, I mean, the draft odds, for simplistic terms, are like fake. I mean, these are fake odds. Like, there's no true, like, there's really no math behind on like what is the correct price on this, because we're really just going off of mock drafts. I think understanding what it opens at is probably the biggest key, where there are a couple of guys at the pick 9, Maltai Gustafson and Ethan Belchetz, who pick 9 opened on Saturday, and those 2 guys opened up at 60 to 1. And currently they are plus 180 and plus 200, which I would say no, do not bet those at those prices. And I think if you just want to look at like the numbers, you just want to know what the opener is and see what it is now. And it kind of just comes down to common sense, because there's really just not an exact science on understanding what the value is of draft odds, because we're really just going off of information.
All right, let's just repeat these, and we'll repeat them later on the show as well. Luke's 4 bets in the NHL draft first round tomorrow night. Number 3 pick, Chase Reed at 3 to 1 to the Buffalo Sabres, assuming they keep it. At number 4, Caleb Malhotra at 6 to 1. Number 6, Keaton Verhoff at 5 to 1, and then the big one at 8, Vigo Bjork at 10 to 1. Luke, appreciate it as always. Let's go. Hope it's half as successful as the NBA draft. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it. At Vegas Refund, by the way, for all of Luke's stuff, the best draft better across sports there is. No doubt about it. We talked to AFC, Dustin and I, yesterday from our NFL betting guide. We'll talk to NFC, division winners, and more.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on the numbers game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Dustin Sweetelson in for Kelly Midland. Still on vacation. Kelly will be back next week. We get tweets, speeding the book. Tim, let's know I already read that one. This is from Scotty, Leisure Suit Kobe, who says, completely agree with Gil. I had the same reaction. Like, who won this trade? Maybe the Hornets are making room for someone? Jaylen Brown, a discounted John Morant, or someone in free agency? Super Jerk, talking about your Byron Buxton take. He says, highly unlikely Buxton stays healthy. Love his game, but the guy's never on the field.
I had another element to it. At least he's playing the field, and Yordan Alvarez, his defense doesn't do anything.
James Fessler. How great would the NL MVP discussion be if there was a without Shohei market?
Oh, please.
As discussed in the preseason.
Here's the thing I want to ask about that, because you would know better than anyone. We have winner without in golf, but they battle head-to-head. How would the books regulate a situation where it's an awards thing, where there's voting involved and a winner without? Because it feels like that could theoretically be manipulated with the voters to convince them to bet on a certain side.
The numbers, guys. You guys are killing it. Great show, Dustin. Long shots wasn't the same without you this week. Is Scotty too short this week at plus 445?
Is this a bit or is it real? Is it? Because I said this when I was in here on Tuesday with you for the first day. Since I joined the company, I have gotten emails for Kelly. Kelly's gotten emails for me. I've gotten texts for Kelly. Kelly's gotten texts for me.
He missed you on long shots, man.
And I am not Kelly Bidlin. And I would normally say I'm the other fat bearded guy, but Kelly's no longer fat. So now you made me offended for Kelly with your statement of accusing Kelly of looking like me.
Stringfellow Hawk. The only male hosts on the network who don't wear blazers are Gil and Kelly. Y'all went, he said rouge. I think he meant rogue. We never did. Kelly and I used to wear blazers on Primetime Action with Matt because we didn't want Matt to feel bad. So this is our thing.
Because Matt just wants to show off two things. Now, he can't show off his shoes because there's a desk, but he can show off his suit collection.
Well, that's what it is.
So he played his game.
Manny Davison feeling real good about his Reed to go third plus 850 ticket now. After the Luke Swain segment. CLV store, here I come,
You know what? I might have some FOMO. I think he texted me that or DM'd me that a couple days ago, and I never bet it.
And then Michael Montesano checking in with the MVP talk. Let you see if you can guess which player he has an MVP ticket on by this. He said Yordan gives the stats, out of playoffs currently. Kurtz, out of playoffs currently. Hit 4 home runs in 6 games in Vegas. Buxton, out of playoffs, gives his stats. And then Ben Rice, number 1 seed, gives his stats as well. If it's just based on stats, he says, all are appropriately priced right now, and Yordan would win it. If team record means anything, Rice would be the winner. Still 3 months left. A lot can happen.
Yeah, I still go back to Ben Rice benefits from Judge since May 31st, a 795 OPS, 235 average, 5 home runs. Look, I love Yordan. Maybe this is clouding my judgment here. I have bet Yordan to win MVP so many times, basically every year other than this year. I didn't bet it because I was down on the Astros. I'm going to be really butthurt if he wins this thing.
Butthurt.
By
the way, let me just give you some of the answers to those questions for MVPs. Let's see. American League. 2023. Shohei, 73 and 89. These are the team records of MVPs. 2021, Shohei, 77 and 85. 2019, Mike Trout, 72 and 90. 2016, Mike Trout, 74 and 88. So it happens. Like players on losing teams, not the rule, but the exception for sure, do win MVP. Let me give you some more in the NL. 2021, Bryce Harper, 82 and 80. Giancarlo Stanton, 2017, 77 and 85. Bryce Harper, 83 and 79. So listen, the point is well made about MVPs, and those names that I just mentioned, with almost little exception, are Hall of Famers. So Yordan Alvarez may very well end up being one, but those are mega stars that are able to get the MVP on teams that are mediocre or bad.
Isn't it pretty crazy, though, when you look at the standings, the teams at the top do not have those MVP guys because Judge is hurt. Tampa Bay, Camanero's not having an MVP year. They're not really a powerful team this season. Toronto's sub 500. Maybe there's a chance if Baltimore becomes a playoff team, Pete Alonso can make a long shot case, but probably not.
Easy.
Chicago in the Central, I thought maybe Murakami, but he's injured and they're still winning. The Guardians don't have a bat because J-Ram is injured. Seattle, who offensively, Julio Rodriguez, the streakiest player in baseball. It is just kind of crazy that the top teams with the winning records don't have clear-cut MVP candidates.
All right, to the betting guide. The NFL betting guide is out. Are you aware of this, Dustin? The VSiN NFL betting guide is out?
I read it throughout the day randomly.
VSiN.com/subscribe. Get our big offer, $175 through the Super Bowl. So all of us, 23 VSiN personalities, can we call them all personalities? Some with more personality than others. 23 VSiN personalities on this guide, as we do with all guides, expertly guided by the great Adam Burke. Put in our division winners, what we predict the division winners will be, the wild card teams. Then we also do conference champions and Super Bowl as well. Yesterday we did the AFC, you and me, Dustin. Let's do the NFC East, the NFC rather, today, starting with the NFC East, where guess what? I went homer-fied. People will accuse me of being a homer on this one.
I don't hate it.
I'm on the Washington Commanders. And let me just remind people again that last year, right, 5 teams had massive swings in their record from the previous season to this one. There were an NFL record 5 playoff teams coming off 11-plus loss seasons this last year. So the notion that if your football opinions are so entrenched based on last year's records, I caution you, that stat should say it all. And by the way, the Washington Commanders should not even fit into that kind of category based on, of course, the Jaden Daniels injury. I love this team. I think Brandon Ayuk is coming the Commanders' way on offense. I love Rashad White in the backfield with Jaden Daniels. How are you defending that? I think Chigakonku is a underrated pickup or tight end.
I agree.
The only question is the offensive line. I will grant people that. The offensive line, I don't really know about yet. That is a question mark. But defense, you got Deron Payne and Odafe Owe manning that line. And I would take Washington's linebackers pretty much up against anybody else's, with Sonny Styles being their key acquisition in the draft. I think Sonny Styles is going to be awesome. But Luvu is there. Le'Veon Chason is there. Leo Chenal. They have a great linebacking core, and they have some good pieces in the secondary. Washington Commanders, baby. NFC East. Let's go.
I love it.
Thank you.
I like the bold call there.
Thank you very much. NFC North, Lions. Lions, super duper easy schedule this year. Super duper easy. Lions finishing last place in the NFC North despite recording the best points differential in the division last year. Do you remember that little tidbit? Plus 68. I've forgotten about that. They're the only other team, by the way, since 1990 to finish last in a division with the best score differential was the 2022 Saints. And that's the NFC South, so that doesn't really count. I'm on the Panthers in the NFC South. Panthers, by the way, favored in the same number of games as the Jets and Giants were last year. 2. Carolina made the playoffs. By the way, still haven't won a game as a favorite since 2021. I got the Panthers in a division where you can kind of throw up all the teams up in the air. Just pick one. Rams are my NFC West. No explanation needed. Wild cards, Packers, Seahawks. And let me just say this, one stat about the Seahawks. Allowed the fewest yards per rush last year despite playing the least amount of base defense. Just a testament to Mike McDonald's schemes. And the Niners, who I have a season win total over on. And again, 64 games combined missed by their top 6 highest paid players. The most missed games due to injury by any playoff team last year. You, sir.
Okay. The Eagles, I have them winning the East, but I have to tell you, I toyed with them not making the playoffs altogether. Yeah. I think Jalen Hurts, people confuse a good completion percentage with being an accurate passer. He's not an accurate thrower, and I think he's going to miss those 50-50 balls to A.J. Brown, who made him look better on the few chances he actually gave it to him. But they're an every other year team. 2021, lost in the wild card. 2022, lost in the Super Bowl, went further, lost the wild card, then won the Super Bowl the years prior. So every other year, Nick Sirianni's good at making adjustments. I'm going to believe in him and Howie Roseman to do so this year, but I'm a little bit trepidatious. I went with the Lions by default in the North. Chicago's schedule's brutal. Green Bay lost their DC and Hafley. They lost Romeo Dobbs. Parsons is going to be hurt to begin the year, and I'm not a big Jordan Love guy. I actually would consider Minnesota because the Lions didn't address their issues at edge rusher alongside Hutchinson, and now this Terrion Arnold situation is very weird, and he is definitely not playing football this year.
Brutal.
In the South, I have Tampa. I think this defense is so underrated, and they added A'Shawn Robinson, Alex Anzalone, Ruben Bain, who I think might be the defensive rookie of the year at edge, and Keontae Scott at corner, who I love. I have the Rams in the West. That is a no-brainer. Then I have the Niners winning the wild card. They're going to be healthier, and I love the additions they made for depth. And more importantly, they will not miss Robert Saleh because Raheem Morris, who may not be a good head coach, is a great coordinator. Seattle, they're road warriors. That's why I believe in them again to make the playoffs coming off the Super Bowl win. And then finally, I went with a spicy pick of the Giants, but I could have went Washington. I could have went Dallas. I think there's a lot of options for that last wild card spot in the NFC.
Spicy is how he described it. It sure is. By the way, good use of trepidatious as well in there as well. Extra points for that.
Word of the day.
Word of the day. NFL betting guide available. VSiN.com/subscribe. Check it out. Mark Borchard on the other side. Q2 derivatives, Major League Baseball, first 5, first innings, all of it next.